Unbelievable. My people, hear what is happening now. We're hearing from one Major Aliyu Mustafa that the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, okay, VP Yemi Osinbajo, are you listening? He said he coached Sergeant Rogers to incarcerate him for the death of MKO Abiola's wife. Others. So this is what this guy is saying. I mean, Yemi Osinbajo may be many things, but hardly have we heard any saga about him with regards to this administration. We've heard a lot of things. We've heard a lot of matters about some people. But Professor Yemi Osinbajo, I mean, apparently this man Mustafa is saying Osinbajo coached one sergeant, to implicate him for, MKO's Abiola's wife has gone to be with her maker, but he said they wanted to rope him in, and it was all the work of Yemi Osinbajo, okay, to ensure that what happened to Kudirat and others, he was the one, okay, that will be held responsible. Anyway, my wonderful people, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like us, share, subscribe. Let's get all the details. How Vice President Yemi Osinbajo coached Sergeant Rogers to incriminate me, I beg your pardon, incriminate me for the death of MKO Abiola's wife, Kudirat, others. He said it was Vice President's work. Mustafa. El Mustafa, the presidential candidate of the Action Alliance AA in the 2023 general election, made the allegations during his appearance as a guest in the presidential candidate series on 90 Minutes Africa with Rudolph Okonkwo and Chidi, Chief Security Officer CSO of the late Nigerian Military Directorate, General Sani Abacha, has disclosed how Professor Yemi Osinbajo, that's the Chief Security Officer of, late Sani Abacha, said he has disclosed how Professor Yemi Osinbajo coached Sergeant Jubrim, okay, aka Sergeant Rogers, on what to say to implicate him in the various high-profile political assassination in the country during the 1990 military Jetal. I mean, can you imagine? Before he became vice president too. Mustafa, the presidential candidate of the Action Alliance AA in the 2023 general election, made the allegation during his appearance as a guest in the presidential candidate series in the 90 Minutes African with Rudolph. Sergeant Rudolph was a member of the General Abacha Strike Force, a group of highly trained soldiers responsible for silencing citizens on the regime of General Sani Abacha who challenges him or who have hands who could possibly do anything to him. However, Mustafa, who was convicted by Lagos High Court for the murder of Kudirat Abiola, but later acquitted by the Court of Appeal while answering questions during the interview, alleged that Sergeant Rudolph had recounted the testimony he presented at the panel. The retired major said that Rudolph confessed that Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Attorney General of Lagos State at the time, coached him on what to say to incriminate Mustafa. According to him, the former CSO to implicate him to the death of late Abiola's wife, Kudirat. He said this was what MKO Abiola did. Well, again, word against word. He said all this happened while Professor Yemi Osinbajo was, according to him, so all this happened while Professor Yemi Osinbajo was the Attorney General in Lagos State. That was when Tinubu was the governor of the state. Up until now, we've not really heard of any alleged information or words being said about the presence of the vice president other than what we are hearing from this guy. There may be other people who have one or two things against the vice president, but like I reiterated, up until now, we've never really heard such. And so hearing these things now that the vice president did this, did that, coached somebody against somebody that coached somebody that coached somebody that coached somebody, we don't know. Again, like they say, it's alleged words against word, is words against the other. Okay, it's this person's word against the other person. And so we wait patiently and see what the vice president has got to say in terms of what is currently going on. We wait patiently and see, because it's words against it's his word against the other person now. I mean, these are in politics, there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies, there are just permanent interests. So you may have people that, today they are friends, tomorrow they are no longer friends. Do you get what I mean? Exactly. So you cannot, it's not there's no, what's it called now? There's no silver bullet to it. There's no silver bullet to it. Say, this is what must be. No, it doesn't work that way. So if anything is going to happen, is change is going to come, we will all have to put all hands on deck and ensure that the people who want to keep Nigeria, some people will lie. Some people put all kinds of words just to, get the country, thinking that the bad people are good, the good people are bad, the good, the bad, the ugly. That's politics for you. Now, like we said, we cannot take his words for it, because we've not heard from the other person. In a court of law, when you go to a court of law and you only use one side of the judgment, one side of a case to provide judgment, you have not done well. You must hear both sides of the case and pass your judgment. You don't hear one side and pass your judgment based on just hearing of one side. It's not right. Okay, that's not justice. That's not you working with wisdom at all. Okay, that's not you working with wisdom at all. If anything is going to change, Nigerians will have to, we have to really look at the fact, and observe the situation and make, a conclusive statement in terms of what is currently on ground. Remember that you have a voice. Every one of us have got, something to contribute. Don't allow anyone intimidate you or push you to a corner. Okay, we just have to fight for this nation. This is the first place we have called home. Yeah, this is the first place we have called home. So nobody should allow the other person or any group of people to destroy our faith in a nation that there is possibility for it to, to become, the place it ought to be. Anyway, my wonderful people, what do you think? Bye for now.